So I'm Shayne Simpson. I'm the Group Managing Director of Ascent International Group. We're a group of companies that work across IT, e-commerce and sales predominantly, and across multi-geography. So UK, Europe, Nordics, DAC, US. And we're what, 23 years now.
Wow.
The group's been going in slightly different guises, but TechNET IT being the founding kind of member is the longest serving, and then we've been quite entrepreneurial and popped up some other companies, and we've formed it into a group
Okay.
officially. Officially it's going to happen in the next sort of month or so, but
Oh, wow.
we've been operating in that way now for about 12 months.
And how many in the business?
So we're about 40.
Okay. And how long have you been there?
11 years.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So I wasn't here at the inception, but certainly been, I worked my way through. I joined as like a team leader, to be honest with you, and I've moved through the business from there, different guises, and led, all the different teams, and we are where we are now, which
Did you
is,
have a recruitment background before joining?
yes, yeah. I
Yeah.
worked for the Impellium Group beforehand,
Okay.
but was like everyone, I fell into recruitment.
Yeah.
I played football at a decent standard and was a personal trainer way back, and it didn't really pay the bills. So I ended up getting into sales, and I
Here we
always
are.
remember walking past the car park, and there were always really nice cars in this car park, and I always wondered what they did because it wasn't clear
Brilliant.
the name. And then one day out of the blue, I got a call from a recruiter that said, I'm recruiting for Escom. Would you be interested? And I was like, yes, I would.
If I can have a car like that, then yes.
That was it. I was like, they clearly make a lot of money, so count me in.
Nice.
And yeah, I think I had my first interview about 3.5 hours,
Wow.
and that was it. We hit it off, and from there it all happened really. It was
Amazing.
match made in heaven for quite a while.
Yeah.
What about you?
So yeah, Nicola Morgan, and so I co-run Wilsonhalligan Recruitment. So we are predominantly in the maritime industry. We do, I'd say, 80% of what we do is it's very niche. It's super yachts. So finding crew for super yachts, which is certainly interesting. And then alongside that, we have a shoreside department where it's a mix of either maritime businesses. So finding people, sometimes it can be ex-yachties, sometimes it's not. But a huge variety of roles for any maritime business, basically. And then also alongside that, we also sort of recruit for private households. A lot of it's the same sort of level of candidate that you're looking at from yachts. Obviously, people that own yachts, they tend to have very nice estates and houses with staff. So we also put people into estates and homes and things as well. So it's really quite varied in terms of the roles that we deal with. And like you, it's across the world. The yachts now are really going further afield. They're not a lot of the owners want to do outside of the typical Mediterranean and Caribbean seasons. So they are worldwide, and same with the estates. A lot of the states that the UK we do a lot. It's the USA. We've done quite a bit in the USA recently, and likewise with the businesses. So we've actually got a lot of maritime businesses we're based on the south coast of England. So there's a lot around here. France, Dubai is quite up and coming as well. So yeah, lots of time zones to cross. Certainly interesting. Myself and Liam co-run the business. We're a team of 13 and went through a management buyout in 2015. I came from yachts, Liam was commercial maritime world, worked with the old owners of the business, and they retired. So we took over together 9 years ago.
Nice.
Here we are.
And I can imagine the client visits are pretty cool.
Yeah, they're not too bad. They're not too bad. Yeah, it is good. It's in terms of it's quite interesting, I guess. From there's a lot of talk around BD at the moment, and what are you doing for BD at the moment in the market? And we are quite lucky, I guess, in some ways, in that we get exposure at a lot of events, certainly on the yacht side, and for the maritime businesses we get to do lots face to face. We do try and attend there's various yacht shows throughout the year. So yeah, we're quite lucky in that respect. I don't know how that compares to what you guys do on the BD side, and if you get in front of lots of your clients.
We definitely try. I think pre-COVID, it was very much, get out there, see your clients as much as possible. Then the video world took over, and I think, you could get 4 times as many meetings done in the same time period, and it kind of became, okay, well, what's my trade-off? And I think it was so busy in that time period as well, that it was really hard to give up really what would be a day or half a day to go and see one client, when you could maybe have 8 to 10 good meetings on Zoom or whatever platform. But we made a real conscious effort this year to get back out and actually see customers. And the reason being, I remember when I was a consultant, I never went to a meeting with a client and didn't come back with a vacancy. I do not remember a time where that even happened. And it would be something else that would happen in a conversation. You go, oh, what about this person? Or they would basically tell you about the other bits of projects and whatever were going on. And I just find that you get more from that. So we've made it a real conscious effort. We just had one of the team go out to Norway for a couple of days, and they tied in across the 4 of them. They tied in about 20 client meetings.
Wow.
Over like 3 days, I think it was. And the returns on that are already, it was so worth the time, the cost. It was well worth going to break bread with those customers.
Yeah, that's the way we look at it. One trip for us, it's especially if we're looking at the onboard positions, we have a look at where is busy at the moment, and one trip, it really doesn't have to cost a lot, and as you say, it could just be a couple of days. And we're the same. You can easily come back with however many jobs, and you make one placement off the back of it, and you've covered. It was 100% worth it. And I also think for the longer term, all of those clients, I really think is a big difference between all of those clients that you've sat down in front of and had a coffee or even some lunch, or I think the rapport is different, and you remember them more, and I think they remember you more as well. And yeah, we've certainly found that over time, just getting in front of these people, it's I think it just builds that rapport so much more easily, doesn't it?
You're a human.
Yeah.
You're not someone they can just be mean to on the back of a keyboard.
Exactly.
I think that's the huge difference. Certainly in IT is really competitive. So
is it?
We get, if you don't have a really good relationship, it can be fastest finger first, like a lot of recruitment industry. But it's really hard to build a relationship with somebody over email.
Yeah, it is.
And I think people are, we'll talk about AI at some point, I'm sure. But with the language models that are available now, I think there's a lot of content that's put together that's maybe a little bit slapdash. I think there's ways you can do it really well, and there's ways that, it comes across like it's an automation. I get them all the time. I get them on Sunday evenings and things like that, and I'm like, well, I know that's an automation. Come on, be a bit more switched on. But and it's like not even putting in a name and things like that, and you're just like,
so late. It's just lazy.
It is. It's really lazy, and it's just scattergun. And I get that you have to fill your funnel up. That is sales. But I think you can do it with some quality.
Yeah. And you mentioned AI, so are you using that on the BD side of things as well now then?
Yes. Yeah, we're using AI pretty much across the business in some shape or form. We've been doing so for since 2020. So we've been using bullhorn automation.
Oh yeah, we use that as well actually, and that is
We took
yeah,
that
that's
in.
amazing.
We took that in April of 2020.
Great timing.
When everything stopped.
Brilliant.
And I spent 3 months, much to my wife's displeasure, because we were expecting our second baby.
Oh no.
But building out, it was a worrying time, right? So
Yeah.
I was building out for post-apocalypse. What can we do to generate business, do surveys, understand what the
It's just that
temperature of the
I think it
market
was that
was?
contact, wasn't it? Because I had this conversation with someone else recently that I know, in our market, a lot of other companies just almost disappeared off the face of the earth. They like shut down completely. And whereas we maintained that, as you say, just that contact. Okay, we couldn't help them with filling vacancies at that time, but I think just maintaining that contact, then when we did come out the back of it, we were forefront of a lot of their minds because we'd maintained that contact.
Absolutely. That we had one part of the business that flourished, and it was the immersive side. So we do a lot of gaming.
Oh wow.
Everyone's home played on their PlayStations.
Yeah.
All the studios we work with were hiring like crazy. So
Wow.
a couple of people that were mega busy. But everybody else, it was very much like, how do I get everyone else busy? So I think we built about 160 automations all in all.
Oh wow.
In that time.
Gosh.
And I think I was quite lucky as a business. I think because I did the job, I understand what I didn't like about the job.
Pain point.
And try and automate as much of that as possible. And that worked really well for us coming out. We've trimmed now to about 80 live automations within Bullhorn. So we've done a lot of stuff that fixed a lot of things, and then when the data was right and things like that, we've managed to trim it down.
And that's just on Bullhorn automation.
Yeah.
Wow.
We use Source Whale,
Okay.
which is phenomenal. And they've got their own language model built in called Whale GPT now, which is very specifically around recruiters and what recruiters say, do, how they communicate. So we've got the large language models like your OpenAI. They're using everybody's language and what it's generating for them, whereas Sourcewell are just using what recruiters are doing.
Yeah.
So
wow.
at some point there'll be an SLM that will, they'll have it. But again, Microsoft, for instance, on Copilot, I'm sure that it doesn't at the moment, but I'm sure they will use your company's terminologies and way of communicating. So I think that's going to be really interesting.
Well, do you reckon, was there one like really standout automation on the Bullhorn automation that you'd say is like has sort of changed things completely, or?
There's loads.
Yeah.
One of the ones for me was getting rid of the crap.
Yeah.
So you can have a big database, but it doesn't mean it's a good database.
Oh no.
And I think we've got 600,000 plus candidates on our CRM, but every single one of them is updated every 90 days.
Yeah.
So we use another product called Woo, which helps with that. Sourcewell updates our client contacts. So I know that all the records are getting updated where there's new information. But I removed anybody that I wasn't able to email or phone.
Yeah.
So if I didn't have any contact details for them,
there's no point. I know there's no point. We've had the same debate in our office. There's absolutely no point in having all that data just sat on there doing nothing. Is there?
And I think I got rid of about 100,000 candidates.
Wow, that's quite a cull.
And I was like, oh,
scary.
But, there's no way of getting hold of those people.
There's just no point.
No. So yeah, we're sort of in the high 80% of fill rate on our CRM though. So
wow.
We're not going external for too much.
Yeah.
That is because our data is, it's very up to date. So that's been a big help for us.
Yeah.
Those couple of products. We also use another one called Content Swarm, which is for our LinkedIn.
Okay.
So it works on engagement from a company level. On you engage with all your company posts. It's not automated because that would be against LinkedIn's
Yeah.
rules, but it's
Yeah.
it's pretty good. It's grown us to over 100,000 followers in a pretty quick time. But we're also using that for AI commenting for BD.
Oh, right, okay.
So it's got a Chrome extension that basically we go onto any post, it will read the post, contextualize it, it knows who you are, and then you can give it a prompt as to what you want it to talk about, or it will just do it with some, you can go, do I want this to be witty or fun or whatever. Select from the drop down, click generate, and it will create some versions of comments that are engaging enough that the end user does really believe that they're real.
Yeah.
And the very least, it gives you something to start. So it takes away the procrastination. And we found that actually we're getting really, really high return rates on engagements on that. We're in the 90s.
Really?
So it lands like a notification. So it's not going into an email, which if you're doing emails for BD, don't.
Yeah.
Nobody is reading those.
No.
There's so many that are landing. You're just in noise. And again, emails, email is one of the preferred channels of communication, but
Yeah.
I've got 42,000 unread emails in my inbox over the last 11 years. So if it didn't happen today, someone will chase me if it's really, really busy, but it just lands differently and it's a nicer way. They seem to come back and say thanks or like your comment, and then you can follow that up with a connection request. You're more likely to be accepted, and then you're more likely to get into a conversation with that individual. So we do that 3 times a week. So we actually set time aside in the diary to do that activity for target prospects.
Interesting.
And it's working really well.
I think one of our interesting ones, we started, was maybe before COVID, but we've sort of amended and changed it, is I don't know whether you use any like chatbots on your website. That was for us a bit of a game changer. We were using a company called Drift. We've since moved a couple of years ago. We moved over to one called Lido, which actually TRN recommended. It's just amazing. I mean, they spend a bit of time, like you said, on the automation side of things. You have to spend a bit of time setting it all up, and but they work with you on that anyway. And I was really worried because the old system, we were manually replying to all of the we had someone in the office that was sat on it replying to all the inquiries. We do get quite a lot of traffic on our website anyway, but it was becoming manageable really. And then through Lido, they're all automated, and I was really skeptical about how it would read and whether people would just see it as a chat bot, and but actually the response has been amazing, and the BD from that is actually incredible. And I do wonder, sometimes I think people land on the website, and had that not been there, they might just click off it. But the number of new inquiries that we get just from that is actually, it's been a bit of a game changer for us, and it just sits on the website, doesn't cost a huge amount, and then the inquiries just come straight through to us. It means that, like you said about we're not spending time. Yes, we still get people emailing inquiries, but not anywhere near what we used to, and then they can get the CV template straight from the website, all that kind of thing. So it just cuts out so much of the admin tasks. So that's been a great one for us actually in the last couple of years.
I like the sound of a chatbot. It was the work involved to make it sound unrobotic, but I think when I last looked at it, AI was not what it is now. And I think I saw something yesterday that speech to speech with open AI is very close.
Wow.
In the US, they're using AI for phone calls already, and there's a culture they're happy to receive them if they know it's a bot, but it's going to get me to speak to the person I want to speak to. We've been using IVRs for years, 2 years. So I think if you understand and it's clear what's happening, I think people will get more open to it.
Yeah, definitely.
At the TRN event at the New Dawn earlier on this
Oh
year,
yes, yeah.
did you see the AI guy, Kane?
No, I wasn't there. The train strikes.
I had a meeting with him.
Yeah,
Obviously, I love all this stuff,
yeah.
and uh, he's created basically just a clone of himself that he can have attend meetings and do whatever. And I registered for interest to have a meeting,
Yeah,
and then I had a call. I was in our Cheltenham office, and the call came through. It sounded like a person, but I knew the type of company I was dealing with, so it's
a
probably
little
not
bit.
a person,
Yeah,
but it was good enough that I was happy to go through, book the meeting. I knew what was happening, but the pauses, the little giggles, it was really, really, really clever.
really.
And then I had the meeting, and I did have to ask, "Is this the real Kane?" Because I'd seen his clone, but it was, and it was really interesting what they're doing. And I think if I look back to that day, with tables of 10,
Mm,
80% of people on my table were anti AI,
wow.
scared of it. There's only 20%. And I had two other colleagues on other tables. There's similar kind of levels of fear and excitement.
Wow.
That Pareto's law of 80-20 was 80% fear,
Be
20%.
interesting to see when in a few years' time whether that's still the same, the same sort of reactions and thoughts about it, or whether people will have accepted it more because it just becomes the new norm.
Yeah. I mean, one of the guys, Alistair Froggatt, I think it was, ex Microsoft, he talked about the Hoovers, the autonomous Hoovers.
Oh yeah. We've
Yeah.
yeah we've
We've
had
got one.
one. I bought one, and it's now sat in the corner of the room and doesn't do anything. I've just gone back to an
Okay.
old one.
So this is how I find it so funny, because for me, I click a button on an app, it does what I want it to do when I'm not
Yeah.
there. My wife hates it.
Yeah.
So I'll find it's not charged. Uh,
Yes.
and
Yes.
then then it can't do what it wants to do. But it was really interesting. My wife, she actually sent me a picture of it the other day. Why is this thing going off? And it was like
Yeah.
10 o'clock on a Wednesday night. I was like, because the kids have had dinner. It's
Yeah.
up all the mess on the floor.
Yeah.
But he talked about the next level of that. So it wouldn't be that you tell it to happen. It would go, right, the kids have had dinner. It's
Really?
going to hear the sounds the kids have had dinner, or work your routine out, and then clean when everyone's gone to bed, or
Wow.
when they've gone out for work, or whatever. And
Maybe I'll have to get mine back out then, because
the
that's the
next
problem. As soon as I
evolution.
had a child, I stopped using it because it's just stuff all over the floor all the time. It just kept
Yeah.
getting jammed. But yeah, it is
Ours
interesting.
does the mopping as well, and that was the
Yeah, the
best.
mopping. Yeah, that's right.
So,
Yeah.
we've got shiny floors.
I don't know. I'm with your wife on this one. I've yet to be
Really like it.
convinced.
I
Yeah, it's
can't
interesting.
whether
Like
at home or work.
all the AI stuff. Is that like did that help you because you moved to a 4-day week a couple of years
Mhm.
ago, didn't you? So has that massively helped with that as well? I guess it
Yeah,
has. Yeah.
yeah. Um, I mean, it's hard to quantify across all platforms what we save per week, but on Herefish, on just general admin, sending authorization emails, confirming interviews, all those kind of
Mm.
things, we save about 19 hours a week per consultant.
Yeah, it's a lot.
We send out our salary surveys through there. So last month we would have sent out somewhere in the region of 1 million interactions
Wow.
across clients, candidates, and some of our candidates sit slightly between two of our brands.
Yeah.
So we've got Digital and Cranberry Panda, and they're quite close. Um, so we're getting information back, but that also updates the CRM. So we know their
Wow.
notice periods, we know
No,
their
so
latest
good.
job title, we know their current salary and their desired salary, and all the questions that we're asking, and we get a really good return on that. And we
Yeah.
find that doing those things helps us to stay relevant. It keeps people interested in being in the database. Um, and every single one of those email transactions or text messages or something has a timestamp against it, and that equates
Yeah.
to what you've saved. But yeah, we're about 19 hours, and that's that's gone up. We were about 15 hours last year.
Wow.
On average, we were saving per week per consultant. So the reason that we went to the 4-day week, I remember as a consultant, Fridays, come in, you'd order your breakfast. You talk about what you're going to do at the weekend.
Yeah.
Be 10, half 10, you start to do something. Then it's lunchtime. So you've probably done about 2 or 3 hours where you come home from lunch. They've probably been to the pub.
Yeah.
Maybe had 1 or 2, and they're probably not as interested in doing what they needed to do. But you're in the office because you've got to close your deals. And then by the 3:30,
Yeah.
the mind's on, when can I go back to the pub?
Yeah, that's true.
Looked at that and took it as a pragmatic, like, can we get more out of people through the week?
Yeah.
And do you know what? On that Friday, I just need you to be around to close your deals. And if anyone wants to get hold of you, you're available to speak to them.
And what about the thing we've struggled with? We've talked about it a lot actually, but the thing that we've always struggled with is our deals are so fast moving. So things come in inevitably on a Friday afternoon. It's funny because it always used to be the same for us. Fridays we finish early, so we have 2 o'clock finishes, which is quite nice anyway. But it was often the way by Friday afternoon, no one's doing anything. There's nothing coming in. And I don't know, in recent years, things have changed around a little bit for us, and now it's Friday afternoon. We get, oh, I need someone to start tomorrow. So ours is so quick. That's the only thing that's sort of held us back. Yeah, it's a tricky one. I don't know if yours is.
We do contract as well, so same
Yeah, okay.
Look, that's down to how motivated the individual is to earn their commission.
Yeah, true.
I think we've got two schemes. We have a higher reward scheme, which is at 40% over NFI.
Yeah.
Which, if you're going to take 40% of that deal home, I'd work a weekend.
Yeah, true.
So I think it depends on who's motivated and who isn't, and you do see that.
So do they all have, everyone has the same day off, so you all have a Friday off?
Yeah. They've got to be over target.
Okay.
For 90 days. If they're not over target, then they can't do their job in 4 days.
Yeah.
So they lose the right to that.
And have you had that situation where you've had to say to someone, sorry, you're back in 5 days?
Yeah. It's very clear where they have to be. And then, when they lose it, God, they clamor.
They want to get it back. Yeah, I can imagine.
It's a nice reward. We've got what used to be a really young workforce is now, it's evolved and people have got children and dogs and whatever else makes them happy. And that just being able to go and take your little
it's amazing,
and pick them up. I never had that as a I'd leave at dead on 6 o'clock or whatever to go and collect. But if you left before 6 o'clock, God, you were frowned upon.
What are your hours sort of like for the team Monday to Thursday?
So they can pick between an 8 or 9 start.
Yeah.
And then they work their normal working pattern from there. It's like 5 or 6 o'clock.
Yeah.
Take an hour for lunch. We do lunch together, so everyone breaks 1 till 2.
Oh, okay.
We've done lots of different kind of patterns on that. We found that actually for a culture fit, that works the best for us.
Yeah.
Everyone, we've got pool table tennis, we've got PlayStations, and a really nice breakout area.
And do you take lunch as well?
No. I used to before I started the 5 a.m. club.
Okay.
So it used to be my little break, and I find it really hard to, once I'm in, I'm probably got some form of ADHD. I think I'm super hyper focused on certain things, and then I'll lose way. If I don't go at 1 o'clock, I'm not one that's I'll go at 1:30 and come back later. I kind of like to play by our own rules. So I get up early in the morning. I do my Peloton, or I'll go to my gym and do my ice bath.
You do an ice bath. Oh, interesting. Heard lots about these recently. I haven't been brave enough to try.
And then I'm kind of done for that part of it, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
So I don't feel like I have to break the cycle later on.
Yeah.
And then if I'm feeling really good, I'll go again in the evenings and do my weights and stuff like that. But I don't do that every single day anymore.
No. It's nice having that mix, and I think, however, like it can take a little bit of time to figure out like what works for you. And I think as leaders, we have to almost practice what if we want them to be the best, then we have to, and sometimes we forget about finding that for ourselves, and it takes a bit of time sometimes. That you felt like I'm the other way. I only at the beginning of this year started using my lunch break for a gym session, and I'm the other way. Like I find having that break in the middle of the day has just been, it's completely changed things. I come back in the afternoon, I feel like I'm starting the day again. It's amazing. So my little one's still at the stage where she's waking at like 5:30, so I can't really get the mornings in, and that was the only way. And I love being active. That was the only way I could try and like really make sure that I was getting it done. And it's easy, I think, sometimes to forget that, and you just like plod on with your day, don't you? And before before you know you've finished the day, and you haven't done anything for yourself really.
I literally fell into, obviously coming from a very sporty background.
Yeah.
It was the one thing that I missed immensely, and realized I turned 40, or in the build up to turning 40, I was like, God, you've got to look after yourself.
Yeah.
You've got a young family, lots on at work. I'm literally was overweight. I'm like, I'm a walking heart attack. And I just went, do you know what? We would sit and we would watch crap on Netflix at the end of the day.
Yeah.
8, 9 o'clock till 10, 11 or whatever. And all I did was just took that time and just put it on the start of the day. Go to bed earlier, get up earlier, and be productive in that morning. And I just find it works better for me. I feel energized through the day because of that.
And do you find that, like, I found that once it's just habit now. It's not, I don't even think about it. If it's, on the days that I'm in the office, I just automatically pack my gym bag. I know I'm going to the gym at lunchtime, unless something, obviously if there's something that I need to be around for, then I change it. But I make sure that whatever I'm planning is outside of that, because that is just part of my day now. It's probably the same for your 5 a.m. You're just used to it. It just becomes habit, doesn't it?
Yeah, roll out of bed. Just get on with it.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, we've done a few things as a company. So we did the Spartan race last year. So we
Did
had an
you?
incentive in for
Wow.
those that were doing it to have an hour and a half for lunch to go and train 2
Yeah.
times a week.
Yeah.
They loved that.
Yeah, that's really good.
So we kept that for those that wanted it and are on target.
Yeah.
So not only 4-day week, but they can actually get another, extra half an hour for lunch every day if they're going to the gym. They've got to do it for the, to look after themselves.
Yeah.
But we had some people that were like, oh, I'm not bothered. I'd rather.
It's not everyone's cup. Well, it's not everyone's cup of tea, is it? Like, not everyone's motivated in the same way.
But quite a few of them have kind of kept that, and I really encourage, the board, so the directors, I really encourage them to make sure that they take the time.
Yeah.
So not everybody's able to do the 5 a.m. club, or go to the gym in the evenings or whatever. So those guys, I do encourage them to go over lunchtime. And part of our kind of coaching and mentoring sessions that we do, I make sure that they are looking after themselves.
It's so important.
Kind of mindfulness stuff as well, which again, I think some people find that a bit cheesy.
No,
but if your head's not straight, you can't perform anywhere else.
No.
Just taking the time, even if it is just a bit of breathing, or just a bit of positive thinking. What are the challenges that I'm trying to overcome, and how am I going to do that?
Definitely.
Rather just being in the hamster wheel, continuing to do the things that we all get lost sometimes. And I found that that's probably worked well, certainly for Emily. I think she's got a young family, she's a stressful job. If she couldn't go at lunchtime, she wouldn't get to train. So
exactly.
I've told her she has to go.
Yeah, that's it. We found more so during COVID than now, but even now, some people in the winter, they'll say, can I take a longer lunch, do an hour and a half lunch, and get, because they're really into their walking, and it's easy, you know, it's much better for them to do that in the daytime rather than in the pitch black. And I think those things, yeah, it's just so important. The other thing I did fairly recently, which it's the first time I've done it, I'm not sure if you've done one before, is one of like the in-depth health checks from, it was with Nuffield, but I know like Bupa do similar ones. And that 3 hours, and I just thought it was absolutely amazing, like a real good way. If we were doing that once a year, you know, it gives you some goals on the fitness side, but on the medical side as well. They're looking at your bloods, you know, just to make sure. Certainly some of our key people in the business, I just thought, wow, this is actually, we should be doing this for more people.
Yeah, we've got Vitality as our private medical, so it's
Same,
part of that. And yeah, I mean, part of you, like your key man and stuff, you have your medicals and, you know, all those kinds of things. But I've just signed up. We've got Medicash as well, which is
okay, I've heard of it. Yeah.
So basically, we took Medicash to offset the excess on our policy.
Okay.
So the consultants we got cheaper policies, but the consultants got a bit of extra wraparound on dental and all those kind of things. But I signed up with this. It's Mudo, and it's a DNA analysis thing. It's all linked to Medicash, and again,
Wow.
like a 12-month plan to, you know, you've got deficient in this, that, the other, and
That's good.
it's there's quite a lot that goes into that. It was quite interesting. I'm waiting on my results still, taking about 6 weeks.
Wow.
The quickest, but we went, and a lot of us have got the Whoops, so we're kind of tracking sleep.
Yeah.
Energy,
I think those things are like more preventative, aren't they? Like if you can, that's what I thought with the Nuffield one I did, you know, I just thought it's more, you're dealing with things before they're actually become a thing if needed, for us and for the rest of the team. I thought it was just important.
That's what the DNA thing is, kind of like your DNA markers and triggers of like your hereditary stuff.
Oh wow.
I mean, I don't even know if it's any good yet. I haven't got the result, but it was subsidized by Medicash. I think it cost me about 70 quid, and I was like, I'll have a look at that. And
it's worth having a
it helps me
go.
with my training and
That's it. Yeah,
myself, then it's money well spent.
exactly.
But yeah, no, I think that's something that I've definitely seen after COVID. I think companies are definitely looking after their people a lot more now.
Yeah, agree. I think it's so
and they're
important.
looking, certainly in recruitment, the forward-thinking people are not chaining people to their desk.
Yeah.
Creating resentment about, you know, you've got to be at your desk till this time, that time. We use a phrase, work to task, not to time. You know, there are times where you're going to be super busy, and you know your opportunity comes in late on a Friday. Well, guess what? Get your sleeping bag out and, you know, get it filled. There'll be times where it's you know, you've done as much BD as possible and you're a little bit quieter and there's not much more you can do.
Yeah.
You know, that's also the trade-off, isn't it? So
absolutely.
I think you've got to be a little bit more aware of, you know, the workforce now.
Definitely.
You know, they want different things, and they don't, you know, whereas, you know, we used to some horror stories. You couldn't have your chair until you've done an hour on the phone, and you know, just looking back what things used to be like. And
glad times have moved on.
yeah, sure.
Talking of time, I think we're coming up towards the end. We're a little bit over, hopefully not too much over. But it's really been nice to catch up anyway. And it sounds like you've got lots of interesting things going on. I might have to find out some more about your AI extensions and bots. Sounds like it's lots.
Yeah, no worries.
Yeah, but yeah, it's nice to catch up anyway.